This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
A very good afternoon, Jambo, and hello everybody and everyone, wherever you are in the world, and a very warm welcome to our PM game drive or our evening or sunset game drive all the way from the Mara Triangle in Kenya. What a good start there, and as always, as usual, my name is David, and with me today is Manu. Manu, good afternoon. I'm not sure what you exactly did. Would you be able to tell me what you did, Manu, there?
Flying thumb.
Flying what?
Thumb.
Oh, flying thumb. I'm sure you all enjoyed what Manu did there. And thank you, Manu, for that. I've learned something new from you, that a thumb can fly. Excellent. What a flying start also we have from the flying thumb to the flying wildebeest. And, Lou in the final control says that's pretty exciting. And the wildebeest are welcoming us to our sunset drive from the Masai Mara Triangle, as I said earlier. Remember, this is a very interactive safari, so your questions and comments makes huge difference for us when we are out here, and you can always send them Twitter #SafariLive, and you can also follow us on the chat stream on the YouTube. Wildebeest feeding, and you can tell from the light there, it's pretty good weather, wonderful temperatures. We got 22 degrees Celsius and 73 degrees Fahrenheit. And Manu just showing you the beautiful wilderness we have of the Mara Triangle. Migration is here, and when I talk about migration, I'm talking about thousands and thousands of wildebeest together with zebras. Occasionally you see a few hundreds of some other big antelope that you call elands tagging along with them. You can see that wildebeest like just stood on the road, in the middle of the road, looking at us, turned to be sure. And hopefully nobody's going to ask me the question, why did the wildebeest and even that one cross the road? I'm sure we all know why they're crossing the road. And funny, we have like hundreds of them on one side of the road and hundreds on the other side of the road, and all of them are crisscrossing from one side to the other. Well, what we're going to do now, we'll just move forward, and have always known, you see wildebeest, you see zebras, chances are the cats are never very far from there. And very good, Miller's doing a good job this afternoon. Out today on our sunset drive in Kenya, we have another gentleman who's on a sunset drive in South Africa, in Juma, and I'm sure he might want to introduce himself and give a big smile, maybe bigger than mine.
A very, very good afternoon, and welcome to the beginning of the afternoon safari. My name is Sydney. I'm traveling with Senzo, who is my camera operator, and I am also joined by Kenny, who is my guest this afternoon. We are both going to be with you, and I hope you are all going to enjoy a lot of our natural environment there outside. My plan this afternoon is quite very easy. I am going to be looking for Hosanna. And something interesting took place earlier on. Hosanna managed to take down a baby nyala not very far away from where he's got his daycare. So today, Hosanna has got two different menus. So for your questions and comments, you can follow us on Twitter, #SafariLive. You can also follow us on YouTube chat stream. Oh, there is an alarm call here. There is a very serious alarm call. So it means here where we are, there must be a cat somewhere from our direction here. The nyalas are complaining, and I can see that the nyala which is complaining must be probably the father of the small one that has been taken down. What are you going signal over? Are you going signal? You talk we love radio. When over? Yeah, it seems like those two nyalas are seeing something somewhere here. So I'm just gonna go up the dam wall and see what is it that they are seeing there. So those nyalas were looking at something somewhere here. Interesting, these alarm calls, they are coming from right here. And the focus of these animals is much more here. The side where I was, that nyala was looking much more this side. So I'm just gonna go around to the dam and try to see what is it that he was spotting there. So this is the family of Nyala, which have lost a baby this afternoon, a baby which has just been taken by Hosanna. So today Hosanna indeed is a little chief. He's got two different menus. So now let's go to Taylor, who is also now about to kickstart driving. Oh, here is Hosanna. Oh, those Nyalas were seeing him. So I just got him now. Oh, he was hiding somewhere here, so we couldn't see, but then the Nyala saw him. You can see he's now coming back. He's not just walking, you can see he's walking and he's checking at the same time. You can see that now he's checking around the water hole. He's also looking at those animals coming from that side. You can hear now the birds are complaining and the monkeys are complaining. Everyone is complaining. So what I have noticed now is that the animals can see very well. I've been here and it's three of us in the same vehicle, but we couldn't manage to see this cat. This cat was hiding. So I just want to move further so that we can see him drinking. And he might now maybe go up to a tree where he just left one of his carcass. So I don't know where he's going to go first, because he's got the menu, the food that he took early in the morning or last night, and he got another fresh one for this afternoon. So I'm not too sure if he's going to go back to the one for yesterday, or he's going to go back and show us where he's hiding the baby Nyala. So the weather is very hot. You can see that this animal has just caught something. And normally the cats, they do get quite a lot of moisture from what they eat. But now he is coming shortly after feeding, he's drinking. So it means the sun is very much strong. So they are losing quite a lot of water. So now let's go to Taylor, who is also about to kickstart the game drive.
Good afternoon, everybody. How exciting that you've managed to find Hosanna. We've got quite a young common daker that's just come out into the open in search for water, but sadly, the pan is dried up. My name is Taylor McCurdy, and on camera with me today is VM. And just like everyone else has said, this is a live and interactive safari. So please make sure you ask us as many questions as you can. There are a variety of different ways, but I don't think I need to repeat them all. Hashtag SafariLive is probably the best way. Okay, so we have just arrived on Chitwa. and we're hopefully going to head down towards the dam in order to find ourselves some elephants. That's going to be the goal for the first half of the drive, is check watering holes like we have been doing over the last few days, and hopefully we'll be able to find some elephants swimming. Otherwise we'll say hello to the hippos, maybe the water monitor will be out, and maybe a greenbacked heron. Haven't seen one for quite some time, so I wouldn't mind having a little look at them. And yeah, I think we're just going to take it easy, and then in a little while we'll head and try and find some wild dogs, or maybe we also can join the leopard party that Sydney has started. So that's going to be what we're hoping to do on safari this afternoon. I hope we get to see some amazing things. And oh, I have already seen an elephant. Yay! So happy. And they're going down to the water. Yes. Because I've been trying to do this for like the last 3 afternoons now, and I haven't been able to find any elephants anywhere near any water. There's a whole herd. They're on the island. That's so exciting. Okay, I'm racing now. Yeah, I'm not actually going that fast. I'm still in second gear. It just feels like I'm going quickly. Okay. Yes. You know, that's why I'm also a creature of habit, I suppose. I do the same thing most afternoons, and I think some of you must get a bit bored, but I do it for this exact reason, so that I can catch the elephant, so I can try and get the sighting that I've been dreaming of ever since I've been back in South Africa. Finally, on this fine Friday, we're going to have it. Okay, now I just need to decide what we're going to do. Oh, there's elephants all over the show. This is even better. Coming out from everywhere. Looks like some of them are wet already, and they've already been down and maybe in this drainage down where there's a bit of water still hanging about. Hello, elephants. Those look like 3 troublemakers. We'll wait for them. They should come round in a minute. But I'm going to go to the island, I think. They're devouring all the trees, the last of the green trees. Come, little baby elephants. They're all running now. The little ones behind us, the 3 troublemakers. I'll show you them in a second. Okay. Here we go. They're the 3 troublemakers that I was telling you about. And they're not little baby elephants, as I suggested. They are youngsters. I mean, I think the oldest one, there's probably about 8 or 9 years old, maybe not quite even 10 just yet. Obviously hanging back, hanging at the back of the herd, as they normally like to do at this age, because I think they're so brave and strong. They don't need mom. They're racing back to the herd now. Isn't that lovely? And that, of course, at the back is Chitwa Safari Lodge. It's a beautiful camp. I mean, you could be sitting on the deck having high tea before your afternoon safari has officially started. Watching hippos, watching elephants, watching all kinds of birds. And lots of predators that come around here too in the evenings. And those are the hippos that you can hear singing their beautiful song too. Look at them, they're so excited. Stretching up, reaching, feeding on the jackalberry trees. Oh, look at the water monitor off to the left of those ellies. There we go, we're getting all the animals that I've suggested so far. It's going to be a fantastic safari. Now this elephant, not this elephant, sorry, the water monitor was disturbed by the 3 young elephants. It's a pity one of the younger calves haven't seen that water monitor, because I think that they might have chased it. It would have been quite interesting to, of course, see. But sadly, you're going to have to find another spot to sunbathe, I'm afraid. But maybe it's the perfect time to cool off. They do get quite hot after sitting in the sun for a very, very long time. Let's see if that young elephant is going to go towards it. Or maybe it hasn't even noticed. That's actually, look at the monitor. I think it's having a drink of water now, which is something we don't get to see all the time. Yeah, look at that. It had its head down in the water. You can see its face is a little bit wet. It's shimmering. And there's also the reflection off of the water too. I suppose it's quite convenient for them, having everything around them. It's got those ellies a little bit nervous. You see that? all got their trunks up and turning around. Maybe there was a crocodile, maybe there's another water monitor or something on that side that they just weren't too happy about. There you go, having another drink. Very cool. Something that you don't get to see all the time. A really interesting behavior. Oh, that looked like a wasp. It flew away around the monitor. Bob, you know what? Crocodiles are animals that you really have to be careful of. They are the apex predator out here, so they are far superior to lions and leopards and hyenas. Oh, look at the water monitor interaction with the water thickney. Look at this. Water monitor is obviously a threat to the thickney. I'll get back to the crocodiles. Let's just enjoy this. So that is a water thickney, and you see them all around here, but they typically are more crepuscular. So you see them active in the early mornings and in the early late afternoons. And monitor lizards, of course, will eat eggs and young chicks. So that bird had its wings open, trying to look big and scary, and now it's just watching, making sure that that monitor doesn't come too close. They must have a nest nearby. I'm quite interested to see what will happen next. Very cool though. So sorry, just going back to the question about elephants and crocodiles. Yes, a crocodile might try to bother an elephant. There's been many videos that have surfaced the internet where, and this is a very cool screenshot in fact, basically where crocodiles have launched themselves out of the water and but elephants' trunks, elephants' tails. I've seen an elephant on the Zambezi River. It was trying to cross the river where a crocodile launched itself out of the water. I think I've even shown you a picture of it, and tried to bite its tail. So they do that. Whether they'll be successful most of the time, I highly doubt it, because normally the whole herd of elephants will get involved if one starts, you can imagine, screaming and trumpeting if their tail or trunk has got a crocodile on the other end. Look at this bird, look at this. Very unimpressed with that monitor lizard. So that nest must be close by, because that monitor lizard is of course much bigger than the bird and could eat it if it really wanted to. It's not interested in right now. The fact that it was being so aggressive like that sort of suggests that that nest is right there, and you know how protective and ground-dwelling birds are of their nest. I can't believe not one of those elephants has been enticed by that water monitor. That was fantastic. And also, of course, hear the hornbills all making noises too, in case you were wondering what that was. Right, well, it's a very exciting afternoon out here. You've seen Hosana. We've had this interaction with the elephants, the water thickney, and the water monitor. What else is going to go on? It seems as though David found his character for the afternoon, and it's the hyenas.
Well done, Taylor, having seen Ellies. Ellies are the favorite animals for me, and we got now different types, or we got predators here, the spotted predators, the hyenas. And these are the spotted hyenas. Earlier, when we spotted the wildebeest, we left that sighting of the wildebeest. I was talking of not very far from where they are. We'll always see the wildebeest attracting, predators, either hyenas or lions or cheetahs or leopards. We've got hyenas here, but on the right, we wouldn't call them predators though, but we got big stocks that we call the marabou stocks. Now, what is interesting between the stocks, there's a vulture there. See that vulture there? I'm trying to imagine. That's the African white-backed vulture. African white-backed vulture. And what is interesting, all these stocks here and that one particular vulture are waiting for the hyenas to finish eating. Then they can go and get what is left. And that's a very interesting pecking order here, because I can only see 2 hyenas feeding against about 10, stocks or marabou stocks, and so many vultures. Now maybe 3, and the one you see on your screen there is a granddaughter of the commander of Wafos, and her name is Soup. Her name is Soup. Mom, could that be correct? And she's feeding with 2 of her cubs. Please remember, any questions you may have, please send them over. Joe, how are you? And always a pleasure to hear your name. Waffles Soup belong to the very famous clan of hyenas here that is called the North Clan. North Clan, that's where Soup comes from, and she's a granddaughter of the main matriarch in this clan that is called Waffles. So what you see there, the Soup with her 2 cubs, and this clan here. We came a bit earlier today to just chance to see if we could be lucky to see them out of the den. When it's rather hot, hyenas will tend either to stay in the den or get some shade somewhere or just lay themselves in the water to cool off. But we just happen to be lucky today than the other last few days. So this is the North Clan, and if I'm not wrong, it consists of more than 70 strong team of hyenas. For those viewers who have never been with us before, a big welcome. And what we have here is a clan of hyenas that we call the North Clan. And we're in the Mara Triangle in Kenya. And we have been able to follow these hyenas for quite some time. And we know the matriarch of the leader as they're feeding there, who is called Waffles. And the big one you see there on your screen is her granddaughter called Soup, with her 2 cubs feeding on what I believe is a wildebeest. Many people have always thought hyenas are ugly, not very good looking, not very friendly, not mean. But for me, I think hyenas have been misunderstood by so very many people. And to me, they belong to nature. I'm trying to get the food from the mother. What's wrong with you, cubs? I would highly doubt the young ones could have made the kill. Definitely, most likely the mother, or the mother with others in the clan. But these cubs, or these cubbies here, are trying to show the mother we want the whole wildebeest for ourselves. A bit windy now, as you can see how the grass is being blown by the wind. And if there are reptiles that like fighting bats like the marabou stork, you see there, Taylor has one.
Dave, I think we've got like one of your favorite reptiles. You spent quite a bit of time with the water monitor, and I'm sure you remember this fella here at Chitwa Dam. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be having much luck, because now Mr. and Mrs. Water Thickney have decided to team up and chase this monitor away, and all it's trying to do is come down for a drink of water and also avoid the ginormous feet of an elephant. But watch how easily it climbs up this little incline. They've got little big claws, so climbing and gripping onto things is absolutely no problem. And even though it's doing it quite slowly now, if it was any sort of panic and it needed to get away quickly, it's actually incredible how fast they can move. I'm uncertain though the speed of a water monitor when they run on land. Maybe somebody can help me out and see if the internet has that information. It's slowly starting to settle down now, until the elephants move back around in that direction. Shame you can't catch a break today, water monitor. I still can't believe what an incredibly exciting start it has been. Typically on hot days like this, the safaris can take a little while before they get exciting. So, I think we're going to have some awesome luck today, so you better not take your eyes off the screen, because who knows what's going to happen next. All the Ellie's just having a drink. I thought they would have been a bit more excited today by the water and swimming and splashing around. Apparently not. Margarita, yes, the water monitor lizards. I don't know where it's gone now. I can't see it anymore. Can you see it, Vim? No, I think it's just hidden away. Sorry, Margarita. They can indeed get much bigger than the one that we were looking at. They often are misidentified as crocodiles from a distance, because they can get quite large. So people will go, oh, look, a baby crocodile. But like not even a baby, well, like a juvenile crocodile. So from nose to the tip of the tail, they can get to, I've seen some well over 2 meters. Well over 2 meters. Probably get a bit bigger than that. And then they can also get a bit more sort of staunch, if you will. That one was still quite a big one, but like I said, I've seen much larger ones before. I like the rock monitors as well. They look very similar, except their faces looks a lot more rounded. So to me, the rock monitors remind me of Godzilla, or how Godzilla was portrayed. And water monitors have more of like a crocodile sort of look to their face than anything. But you're welcome to pull up some pictures on the interweb. And they're all even eating the guarri trees. And we know that the guarri trees aren't particularly tasty, full of tannins. But I suppose they can't be picky at this time of the year. There's very, very little for the elephants to feed on. Gobbling it straight down. Just removing the leaves. It doesn't look like they're eating much of the bark off of this tree. Maybe they'll show us how to make a toothbrush. Where's James when we need him? Oh, there's another water monitor, VM. There's a smaller one. Look, Margarita, this is a much smaller water monitor. So I think that this is the male and female pair that we've seen mating here before, actually. I think on a number of different occasions. Well, I've definitely seen a pair mating here before. And you can see this one is much smaller. The sexual dimorphism between the two, it's very difficult to tell. But I'm just kind of making an educated guess now, because I have seen a big male and a relatively small female, and they have been mating on the island. So they are territorial. They typically stay in one area. They're not like elephants that constantly roam around and, you know, go wherever there's food and water. But she looks like she's also very unimpressed with all the elephants. What are you trying to climb up? You see, the water monitors are much more adapted at climbing than the elephants. But that is a little elephant though. And I reckon as it gets older and taller, it'll probably find that obstacle much easier to conquer. Oh no, here come the water thicknies again. They're unimpressed with the reptiles today. They are taking no nonsense. Louise has now said, "Come at me, bro. Say it to my face." Oh, now the elephants have decided to cross the river. Not the river, it's not the Mara. I'm so used to saying the river. They're crossing! The wildebeest are crossing the river! It's ingrained into my head and I'll never be able to. This is not the river, this is Chitwa Dam. Listen to those sounds. You can see how the water's dried up quite a bit, and of course the resident saddle-billed stork. Although no, it's not really a resident. It only comes through every now and then. And I think my highlight of this sighting is, VM, can you see that blacksmith lapwing just below the elephants? It should be running after them, not to try and chase them like they normally do, because the blacksmith lapwings are exceptionally territorial, and they often chase the plovers and other birds away, but it's using the wake that the elephants are creating. So all those waves that are now washing up on the shore could potentially bring new food. So it was quickly just running, making sure, and using the elephants to its advantage to feed. And I'm sure that the stork will do exactly the same thing. Any fish that are chased towards it, it won't hesitate. And this is a male. This is also a male saddle-billed stork. Well, that was definitely worth coming down to Chitwa Dam, but we're going to go back to Hosana, who is now laying down, having a snooze.
It was indeed very worth it seeing those kind of elephants displaying some activities there by the Chitwa Dam. I am still here with Hosana, who is now becoming very active. He was lying down all along, but now that you're back at me, I can see that he wants to show his next plan. It will be very much great if Tingana decides to come towards this direction so that we can see what is going to happen. But now at this stage, Hosana is now full because he just had his meal and he also got a lot of water just now. So I don't think he can be able to run long distances if any other prey decide to come for drinking here. So there's also a nyala, big bull nyala approaching the dam at the moment, but slowly approaching. I can see now that that nyala is stopped. So if you can check his breathing rate, you can see that he's very much relaxed. So right there is a nyala trying to come this side for drinking on the other side of this dam via Telepan. You can see that nyala standing there. So that is the bull. And that is not the nyala where the baby was taken from. The two nyalas which lost the baby this afternoon, I saw them during my arrival. So it was also a very big bull together with a big female. So they were back here trying to check. They were very much sympathetic. And it's the very same nyala who shown me Hosanna, as the big male spotted Hosanna first and he was starting to give some warning signals. And that is how I managed to reallocate your Hosanna after my arrival here. So now we have got also the oxpeckers. They've just arrived here at the dam. You can hear them making noise. Those are some of the birds which are very good indicators of the big heads of animals such as the buffaloes. So I can see the oxpeckers are just there, and it's before the drink now. So the oxpeckers, if you look at the beak, those ones have got red beak. These are the red-billed oxpeckers. So these birds, they've got a very significant role on these animals because they can be able to take the ticks in the areas where the animals cannot manage to reach, like in the ears, behind the head, all the difficult areas. You will see the oxpeckers cleaning these animals. Oh, now it's quite a very big group. You can see others has just arrived now. So I'm sure there where they are, there must be some water leakages where they are drinking. So it's amazing seeing that oxpeckers who are feeding on parasites who are absorbing quite a lot of blood are drinking. So Crosby, I am not too sure where Hosanna is hiding the antelope you caught earlier on. So that is something I'm trying to check here, because when I got here, Hosanna, how I found it, it was through the family of Nyalas who spotted him somewhere in between the bushes on the ground. He was not up in the tree. And I'm sure that at this stage, from a big lesson Hosanna had from the hyenas yesterday, he cannot hide anything on the ground. So it means if he's not done with that Nyala baby, it must be hidden somewhere up in a tree, somewhere nearby. So hiding something on the ground is also very dangerous to himself. So now let's go to David, who's got the hyenas. Not the hyenas that chased Hosanna yesterday, other hyenas from the Mara.
A relaxed predator, Hosanna, which was my very first leopard to see when I was in South Africa. They spotted, or the other predator here, the spotted hyenas are more active, and the vultures and the marabou stocks are getting much closer to the kill than before. So every 1 minute they're going a few inches closer, and this youngster here is trying to defend the kill from these would-be stealers or snatchers, the marabou stocks and the hyenas. As I said earlier, this cub belongs to Soup, who is a granddaughter of Waffles. Waffles is the matriarch, or she is the leader of what we call the North Clan of hyenas that is found here where we are in the Mara Triangle in Kenya. So those birds you see there are what we call the marabou stocks. And we've got a few people, or some people, who like talking of the big five of Africa: small 5, the ugly 5. And incidentally, now we've got 2 of the ugly 5 with us, and that's the hyena and the marabou stock. I do not know what criteria or formula they use for them to, like, you know, deduce this belongs to the ugly 5 or the beautiful 5. Big 5 we all know. So she's going back to where the kill is. They just pulled it a little bit. Whoop. Time to have a nap, not to eat anymore. But you know, that one is lifting the kill. What do you want to do with it, Soup? Maybe she won't take it to the den. I think the marabou stocks are getting more courage and getting closer to them. And Soup want to move it away. What marabou stock will you do? Do you get away or do you try and snatch from it? Nadina let you know that of all the animals I know in the world, or in Africa where I live, it's only the hyena cubs that are born with their teeth on. I do not know of any other. There could be, but anything after 2-3 weeks, the hyena cubs are able to eat meat. Maybe a little bit earlier than that, than for the other predators like lions or cheetahs or leopards. They do not do much suckling, hyenas, and because of that reason, they need the teeth, and very early, for them to start crushing bones or eating meat mainly. Now she is not eating, but she's trying to stay in an angle to keep away the marabou stocks from getting closer to the kill. So Soup, the one you see there, she got 2 cubs. Sorry, marabou stock, you might have to wait longer because until these hyenas leave here, there's no way they'll get a chance to eat the kill. Beautiful savannah we are in, as man is trying to pan and show you there. So all those are marabou stocks there. But also we had, that's landing, vulture. Magic Dragon Wizard, always a pleasure to hear your name. And I'll tell you this, that the hyenas are feeding on right now is a wildebeest. And hyenas will go for any animal, not necessarily small little guys. I've seen hyenas going for giraffe. That's way back, which is quite unusual. So I'll tell you, I think the largest I've seen hyenas go for is a giraffe. But ideally, wildebeest, zebras, toppies, for them that's a piece of cake. They easily go for them. Last night we saw Wafos, or the matriarch in this clan here, was feeding on a baby toppie. I do not know what happened to the mother, but last night we saw them feeding on a baby toppie. So the largest prey, you know, I have seen hyenas going for is a giraffe, but not a fully grown giraffe, but anything from 15 to 20 hyena strong team. I can tell you, I would not be surprised if they would chase a giraffe, she gets tired and gets traumatized by like running and bring it down. But in general, wildebeest and zebras. So every time Soup is trying to move away from the kill, they're edging much closer. But I don't think Soup is ready to let the kill go, and especially knowing she got 2 cubs there. Not sure where Wafos is. Wafos is the matriarch in this clan here. She seems to be moving away and dragging the kill. It's rather warm, so there could be a combination of the heat, the weight of the kill, and the irritation maybe she's getting from these marabou stocks and the vultures. The vulture you see there, that's the Rupert's griffon vulture, and maybe the other one on the other side could be the African white-backed vulture. We'll keep watching the drama here, that's how it is unfolding between this predator here, the hyenas, and the vultures, and let's find out how the other predator is doing all the way in South Africa with Sydney.
Look at Hosanna now. Hosanna was just eating a lot of green grass at the moment. So I think he's done now. But earlier on, he was just coughing. So it means he knows very well that the grasses are medicinal used. So we don't only use the vegetation or the plants as medicine. Animals too, when experiencing problems, they've got to come and eat some of these plants for medicinal purposes. So he was feeding on a specific grass, which is called the Sporobolus africana. So it's a red sail drop seed. So that grass is going to assist in order to clear the internal parasites. So you can see now he is very much relaxed under a very little shade there. So what he's doing now, licking this paws, is when he wants to clean himself. Normally in the mornings you will see them doing that and clean the face. That is how cats clean themselves. Look at that. He has just been to the water hole twice since my arrival. So we saw him earlier and again he went back. He was also drinking again now. So but he must have to be very careful. When it comes to the grass he was eating for medicinal purposes, that grass carries quite a lot of pepper ticks. So you can see that he doesn't want to go back to the carcass now, but not too sure which carcass because he's got two carcasses at the moment. He's got a dinner and a dessert at the same time. So I don't know which one is going to use for dinner and which one is going to be a dessert. He looks very tired this afternoon. I think the weather is contributing towards that. So he's high up. When he's on top of these areas, he can be able to scan this whole ground very easily. So I am not alone here at the sighting. Don't get surprised hearing other vehicles and camera clicking. So some other guests are also taking pictures here. So look at that. Let's now see what he's thinking. He's looking at his daycare carcass. I just want to try and see what is his decision, where he wants to go now. Because I can see that it seems like he is concluding his red spot for the day. So you can see now that he's walking back to the dam again. So I'm just gonna reverse. So now, let's just see what he is planning to do. So let's go back to Taylor with some other animals around the Chitwa Dam area.
How cool is this day? I'm going to say it 1,000 times over and over again, but it is spectacular. And as you can imagine, I have not moved away from the elephants because I've been complaining that I haven't seen any elephants and that I've been seeing far too many leopards, if there is such a thing. So I'm finally so happy to be reunited with my favorite animal in the whole wide world. Although this herd doesn't seem to be paying us much attention. They're ignoring us. Have you all travelled from the Mara? No, I'm just joking. These are not elephants from the Mara. So they're all just feeding happily. That one, of course, is going to multitask. Maybe? Looks like it wants to multitask. Suppose the vegetation is quite dry. It's having a little bit of trouble. I would suggest perhaps eating some euphorbia, maybe? There we go. Well done. Whew, that looked exhausting. For an elephant. Sorry, I'm horrible. Ah, goodness gracious. But there's something else that's pretty cool that's going on around here. I'm hoping we're going to be able to show you, is that there's a fork-tailed drongo who was lined up beautifully just a moment ago with some elephants. Now, just as we were watching that blacksmith lapwing run around and the elephants crossing the dam to its benefit, basically, by chasing around some insects, that's exactly what this drongo is going to do as these elephants feed along this river line. Beautiful birds, very intelligent creatures as well. One of the more intelligent birds out there. Whee, that's a loud M-Drive radio. Just turn that down. So you can see it's just waiting, hoping that Ellie, although the elephant is not doing what it wants it to do, it keeps moving away from him. And he's going, but I was just there and then you weren't there and then I moved to you and now you've moved away. Probably quite frustrating when you have to rely on somebody else to help you find food. Oh, you must have got something. Yes, it did. It did actually catch something. I didn't see what it was. It definitely had something in its beak, unless it had caught itself a leaf. Maybe that's what it caught. You thought it was a type of bug, but unfortunately, it was wrong. That's a beautiful shot, though, with the elephant just moving around. It's one of the, I think, photographer's dreams also to try and line a fork-tailed drongo up, or a bird of sorts, with an elephant. Sinak, I definitely think that the fork-tailed drongo is right up there with being one of the most intelligent birds. I think crows and ravens are also very much intelligent animals, as you often see them problem-solving, you know. So yeah, I mean, for instance, just in terms of a fork-tailed drongo, we often talk about it mimicking, and it doesn't just mimic other bird species, but also different mammal species. So typically the calls of meerkats and mongoose, things like that. So I think you've got to have some kind of skill there. I think southern ground hornbills are fairly intelligent too. Who else? What does everybody else think? Hashtag SafariLive. Let me know what other birds you think are intelligent. But in my opinion, I think that the fork-tailed drongo is definitely right up there. Yes. Sitting Bull, you're 100% in saying an African grey parrot being quite intelligent. I think most of the parrot species, for instance, have a superior intelligence above a turtle dove or something along those lines. I think that's true. Okay, I'm going to turn around now. We're going to go back towards the dam because the next wave of elephants that were coming through seem to be bulls. They're still lingering, so that's good. We've just got a little way to drive. We've got to go all the way around. We've got to go all the way. That maybe you will get some bulls pushing and shoving one another around, showing a little bit of dominance to one another. Oh! Un momento, look at this. What did you just say to me? Yeah. Run away, because if your mother heard you speaking to an adult like that, you won't be in very much, or you won't be in the good books. No, I'm just joking. Those little ones had forgotten that the rest of the herd had moved on ages ago. And then when I repositioned, they panicked, put their heads up looking for Mom, couldn't find Mom, and then automatically just thought, well, we'll just shout at her. We'll just go. Basically, they were going, hey, go away, get away from us. We don't need you, go away. And then they ran back panicking to Mom. See, now they're fine. Absolute drama queens. It's like nothing even happened. That one in front's not taking any chances. That blonde girl was very scary. We were petrified. I feared for my life. Ah, they make me laugh, little elephants. They are so funny. They're so big and strong when Mom's around. I know, it's exactly it. Louise is now also, she's got the Santon accent on. I don't know why we always resort to that accent. I have absolutely no why we go to Johannesburg. I feel like it's a South African thing though. I'm allowed to mock other South Africans because I am half a South African. Oh yes, I should tell you all with Santon. They know, I talk about Santon all the time. Santon is a very posh suburb in Johannesburg. It's where a lot of the wealthy folk like to live. But for some reason, if you move to Sandton, you must speak like this. I don't know why, but they all talk like this, and they all drive very big, fancy cars, big cars, and they often are seen having wars with other women who also drive big fancy cars in the car parks because they steal each other's parkings. That's very funny. I find it quite entertaining. That's what I do on my holidays. I just drive around Morningside, Parkhurst, Craigle, and go from parking lot to parking lot watching the wars that unfold and then narrate them. I should start doing more Insta stories on that. You'd all find it quite funny. Also, if there's anybody from Sandton watching, I'm only just joking, but South Africans, well, they do have a good sense of humour. I'm from the Eastern Cape, so there we go. I mean, that's just a joke in itself. It's not. I love the Eastern Cape. It's a lovely place. Here we go. Mom and youngster walking towards us. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly... is she going to go around? I'm sorry, girl. I know you wanted to walk straight towards me, but I'm just going to let her go around. Hello, big girl. I'm just going to move away a little bit because I think she would be fine, but I also don't want her to go, no, I'm not fine with you at the last second, and she's got a young calf. And then I'm going to actually go up here and she can walk on the road. And then I'm also pinned in on the water, so that's kind of not the situation you want to get yourself in. Not that she's angry or anything like that, but I think it's very important to always err on the side of caution with wildlife, because they are wild animals and anything could upset them at any moment, and you could just be at the wrong place at the wrong time. So I'd rather just move out of her way and give her a bit of space. Especially the way her calf was hanging right next to her side. I'd hate for that little one to trumpet and then mom gets upset with us. Come some 3 more naughty elephants. It seems as though they hang around in threes. Wonderful. Okay, well, we're going to just move around the dam and see if we can get any more elephant interactions. So hopefully we will be able to. But off you go back to David to see if the hyenas are still having a squabble with the vultures.
Well done, Taylor, with the elephants. And now I'm sure you are on the move. And me, I am not on the move. I'm still in the same place I was, enjoying these hyenas, or the North Clan of hyenas, eating. And I may have first to apologize to Namaste Nadine for a question you asked me after how long are the hyena cubs able to start eating meat. My apologies. I must have told you 2 weeks. I don't know what was in my head. But in general, I've just confirmed it takes about 5 months. 5 months before the hyena cubbies are able to start chewing meat. I mean, the mothers keep them for a long time nursing. And for carnivores to nurse for a year sometimes and a half is such a long time for the hyenas to keep the cubs nursing. But again, Namaste Nadine, my apologies. It's about 5 months. That's the duration before the hyena cubs are able to eat meat. And having said that, we can maybe comfortably say these cubs we see here eating, if they're not 5 months, they're just about, or maybe slightly over 5 months. It's either time to take the kill home is something they're learning. Their mother soup, that's what she was doing before, and now she just laid down and maybe watching the cubs just do it, and hopefully one day they'll be able to be independent and do it for themselves. Now, surely but slowly, the vultures, the marabou stocks getting close, and soup is not amused by that. Like, get out. We did bring these wildebeest down. You have no business enjoying not from your sweat. So stay away. And until my cubs are full or we're done with this kill, then you're welcome. In the meantime, don't get anywhere close. So that is Soup, the granddaughter of Wafos. Wafos is the leader of the North Clan, and together with one of her cubs. I'm not sure this one is full, doesn't want to eat anymore. And because they were born together as the littermates, she's also definitely 5 or slightly over 5 months. Hello there. Where are you going? Stay close, because Mama is trying to drag. So where do you want to take the food? looking on his bum on the back side of the hindquarters, you may not be able to see the spots. Is what I was saying earlier, when it's pretty warm, they tend to wallow and stay in some mud puddles just to cool off. You see the hindquarters are all dark, it's covered by mud. And I'm sure she was cooling off at one point, maybe early today. Not sure what to do with this kill. I don't know if this is too heavy or cannot grab it nicely. She can't have a better grasp on it. Paula, what would happen is, I haven't seen hyenas eating birds, and they're just irritating. What would happen every time they get close? They just chase them. But the storks know, Paula, they can't get anywhere close. Hyenas are no jokers. They're very strong predators, and they can easily just bite these birds and just crush them. So they will not bother, and they know it's not easy to eat them, even if they bring them down, because of all the feathers they got on their bodies, Paula. So they tend to stick with different prey. The wildebeest, it's a youngster wildebeest. She's trying to lift and moving it along. Yesterday we saw them eating a young topi. So today's young, sorry about the chaos there, today's young wildebeest. And yeah, birds could be difficult for them to catch. So the vultures every time, they're trying to get close. And you can see now, as man is pointing out there, the wildebeest, the marabou storks. And the vultures slowly, every time getting closer. But as they do that, they are also able to pick small pieces of meat left behind by the hyenas. You notice some of the marabou stock got white legs, like that one there. And that's when they drop, the poo, it always drops along their legs, and you have always what that helps to keep them cool. Although some don't have white legs. Ideally, their legs are not white in color, but that's just because of their droppings. Most storks have very long beaks, but this particular one have pretty long ones and also very strong. The one moving to the left, there, Manu, if you look carefully, it goes something like a sack or a pouch. I just hope she's going to turn around and you can be able to see that pouch. Yes, that one there. You see the pouch there. And those pouches serve a few purposes for the marabou stork. Number one, they usually help them to keep cool. But also, during the breeding season, those pouches there are inflatable. And they tend to blow air in them using their nostrils. And they get very big and very deep pink. And they use them for courtship. So either the male or the female, you'd see them like us. The ostriches, the male, the Maasai ostrich, going pink red necks and legs. For the marabou storks, that pouch gets very big and it's very deep pink. Vulture, what are you thinking? The vultures have definitely been outnumbered here by the marabou stork, and this is the Rupert Griffin vulture. Rosalind, how high can the marabou storks fly? I have no idea. I can't know for sure. I know vultures will go up to 3,000 feet above sea level. Not sure how high the marabou storks would go, but they don't go very high, marabou storks, because they don't glide as well. They've got huge wingspans and they're rather heavy and not very good gliders. Vultures, we have known they can go very high, especially the African white-backed vultures. And they would use the heat thermals just to glide for so long. No idea how high the marabou storks would go. I'd be able to find out at one point. And we have known them not being able to glide. They'll tend to perch on trees to look for food or just walk on the ground looking for something to eat. But the vultures will always glide and using their strong eyesight be able to spot food from a distance and then just fly down and start feeding. Not many people or not many other animals out here have seen going for either vultures or marabou storks. So where those marabou storks are is where Soup was feeding with her cubs earlier, and I'm sure they're trying to pick for any piece of meat left behind. I counted about 20 marabou storks and about 10 vultures against one female hyena and 2 cubs, but still The hyenas are strong and powerful. Joy, again, good to hear your name. And marabou stocks don't have a particular breeding season. It's any time, you know, the males and the females will mate, and they'll have the nest on top of trees. They lay their eggs and then they hatch out. So marabou stocks, I would say, they do not have a set breeding season, just like the vultures. Apart from some birds that you call the Eurasians, that will either come to Africa from Europe and go back for breeding seasons, the rest of them, you know, including Joy, the marabou stocks you are talking about here, don't have a set season for breeding. I feel sorry for you guys. You might have to wait for a long time. And I was thinking your numbers could be of an advantage to you, but this is not the case. What I want to do now, I want to back up a few meters because Soup has repositioned herself and just laying next to her kill, making sure these marabou stocks don't get anywhere close. So just give me 2 seconds. And Manu, can I keep coming? You're righty. Mila, you need to move. Mila, go. Mila, go. Tell me, Manu, what tango you like. That's good. All right, Manu is happy with that. And you can see what Soup has done. She just placed the keel behind her and one of her cabs, and she is facing the direction where the marabou stocks are. Like, you try to come close, you'll be in a lot of trouble. That's the other cab there. But the north clan is so huge. There's another hyena there to the left of your screen. Are you coming to say hello? Either to your auntie or someone there. You can see the teeth on these cabs. They're already very well developed and ready to keep eating meat. Alrighty, from the spotted predator hyenas here, we'll take you again all the way to South Africa, to Sydney.
I have just left Hosanna there as he was just lying down doing nothing in order to come to here where the wild dogs left a carcass this morning to see if maybe I can find some interesting birds such as the vultures. But here I am not seeing anything. Seems like everything is finished at the moment. Maybe the hyenas came shortly after that and take everything. Romet, yeah, it is here where I am, where the carcass has been spotted this morning, but I can't see it anymore. So considering what happened to Hosanna yesterday, you can clearly see that if food is left on the ground, it's not safe at all. It's not going to last much longer. So there's quite a lot of scavengers, vultures and the hyenas. Jackals as well, they do the same thing. Nothing is here at the moment. I can only see the impalas. No activities for the scavengers and small predators at the moment. You can see this. Rosalind, my favorite animal is the dung beetle. I know a lot of people, they don't consider insects as animals. But let me tell you something. The insects also falls under the kingdom Animalia. Insecta is just a class. Dung beetle is my favorite animal. Yes, my favorite cat is the lions. And my favorite big animal is the rhino. So the reason why I like the dung beetles a lot is because of the way dung beetles are contributing towards the human survival. Remember, the survival of man depends on the survival of nature. So these tiny little things that are are eating the dungs every day and flying and do the pollination. This is just the activities which falls under something which is called ecosystem services. And who are the beneficiaries of the ecosystem services? We are the beneficiaries of the ecosystem services. So I can see there now that the impalas in the very same area where one impala was caught this morning, they are right there. Oh, there's also a big animal. That is not an impala. There is a waterbuck there. Not too sure if it's a male or a female because he's hiding. The big animals, they are hiding under these evergreen trees. I've just seen a big nyala doing the same. So the temperature is very hot at the moment. And animals such as nyalas and waterbucks, which has got fluffy hairs, I'm sure they're experiencing the problem with the heat. Look at the impalas there. So the impalas, they are not worried about the heat because of their good adaptation. They like to be active now because they know by this time of the day is when the activity patterns of the predators are very low. Also, if you can check, impalas, they give birth mostly during the day because to them that is the safest time for them to give birth, as they know very well predators by that time is when they are resting. But here in Djuma Game Reserve, the western side of the Kruger National Park, we have got some of the predators like Hosana who are not resting completely during those periods. So you can see that is one of the males as the males carry horns. So the impalas are also very beautiful antelopes. So these impalas, they are feeding on dry grass and they are also feeding on some of the green trees. And the green trees, evergreen trees, their leaf structure is so very hard in order to prevent transpiration. Transpiration is the loss of water through the leaves. So when the wind is blowing like this, the trees, the vegetation is losing quite a lot of water. So these evergreen trees, for them to maintain the green color on the leaves, they must have to develop kind of a plastic coat to prevent sunburn and to lower the level of transpiration. So because of that hard cover of the leaves, these animals must have to go and drink water regularly. And the animals such as Hosana, they use that advantage. They know that these animals are water dependent by this time of the year. So now, after the waterbuck male, who is just together with the impalas, I'm not too sure if him or the impala is getting benefit from the other, but when animals are feeding together like this, can be about safety in numbers or eyesight issues and hearing abilities and sense of smell. So now let's go back to Taylor, who is also driving around the Chitwa Dam.
No, I'm joking. I just wanted to make Louise panic. That's exactly what we're doing. We're just having a look. Just listening to people chatting on the radio. It sounds like there was some male leopard tracks somewhere. Oh, there's a bush shrike. There's a grey-headed bush shrike. Let's see if it's going to stay. Can you see it, VM? It's hopping. There we go. It's in there. It's very difficult for VM. It's actually jumped up a little bit higher. Up, here we go. Yeah, center there. There we go. Just to the left, you've got it in frame. There we go. There's the grey-headed bush shrike. We've been seeing a lot of them around lately. And they're one of the most fascinating birds to watch. Yes, well done. That was fantastic camera work. And what I think it could be looking for on this tree is maybe not necessarily insects, but what about a little lizard or a gecko or something that just wants to try and camouflage itself on the trunk of a tree, and there are lots of little lizards and things living around there. Even a skink maybe. Again, they've got that massive hook on their bill that could quite easily kill some of the smaller reptiles. So a lizard of sorts would not be an issue whatsoever. This is awesome. Let's see if it'll do its call. I'm going to try and do the grey-headed bushshrike call now. I've forgotten how it goes. How does the bush... Didn't like that. And I don't think it was particularly good one either. And then they go quack, 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 quack when they announce their territory. They always sound like frogs. I can literally still remember my first time hearing the territorial call of a grey-headed bushshrike. I was in the Eastern Cape. I drove to this beautiful little lagoon with lots of palm trees. It was so stunning. And I heard that sound and I went, "Ooh, the frogs are busy." And the other guides that I were with were much more experienced than I was. I just started guiding and they had a big laugh. And of course it was not. I was then promptly told that it was the territorial call of a grey-headed bushshrike, which I hadn't seen yet. I'd never seen one of those birds, one of these birds. Wonderful! That was a fantastic sighting of the ghost of the Lowveld. You normally, as we always say, you normally just hear them calling. That sort of very daunting sound that they make, which is much scarier when they do it. And normally it's like first thing in the morning when it's misty. It's quite cool. But anyways, what a lovely sighting, and at least it came out into the open. We need to now just try get an orange-breasted bushshrike so that you can, from the last couple of days, you can put it next to the grey-headed bushshrike and you can see how different it actually is. But again, it's okay to get it wrong, especially when they're flying from branch to branch. They look so similar, especially from the back, with that olive sort of green coloration. So I don't know even what road we are on. I'm hopeless at learning the names of roads. I just drive and then hope that I don't end up on a property that I'm not supposed to be on. But we're just going to sort of loop and lap around, and then I think we'll pop back onto Djuma at some point and start checking some of the watering holes around there. Maybe see if we can find Tandi and Tlalamba, bump into her more realistically. Maybe Tingana. Maybe Tingana is the leopard that's been walking around here on Chitwa. Wonderful. Okay, well, we'll keep navigating through this very dry and very dense area. David has moved on from the hyenas. Is he going to go look for cheetah, or is it going to be the lions that steal the show this afternoon?
Very good, Tel. I'm sure good things going to happen shortly. And we decided to leave the hyenas in that particular den, and I left Soup with her cubs and the rest of the group, and I'm moving towards the main den where the other day, last night rather, I saw Waffles herself. Waffles is the main leader of the matriarch of the North Clan, and she had a big feast yesterday of baby Topi. Lots of bones and jaws we see on the road as we drive. It's like a feast season now for all the predators, mainly because of the migration. So there'll be all bones spread all over the road, jaws. So we're gonna keep going and find out where we saw Waffles last night, if she'll still be there. The sun is still pretty strong, as much as the temperature feels a bit cooler than before, and the wind has picked up. You can tell from how the wind is blowing. The grass. There's one big vulture here on a tree we're coming up to. She's definitely in the wrong place. Can you see it, Manu? Very good. Sorry, it's just against the light, but this is one of the vultures I like following. Beautiful silhouette there, and this is the lapid-faced vulture. As much as it's against the light, there's two of them. And why I say I love following these vultures is because you can easily read them, you can easily study them, you can easily understand their behavior. You'll always see two. Well done, good job there, Manu. And he's always a male and female. Unlike all the other vultures we have in East Africa that you get in flocks of 15, 20, 30, it's very easy to study or follow these particular ones. And of all the vultures we have here, these are of this particular species, they're the strongest and the largest. just in size. Sometimes it reminds me of the bald eagle, because if you look on its head, it's all bald. You can see how the wind is blowing the tree and the feathers. I would say the hierarchy of different mammals, it depends on, which predator is doing what. If you look, for example, the vultures, for example, say you've got about 7 different vultures or species in East Africa. If they land on a kill, for example, together, these ones will be the first ones to eat. If we talk of predators that will find a kill somewhere, and you look at lions or hyenas or leopards, lions always will have the upper hand. All right, Lapis-faced vultures, we'll leave you there enjoying. I don't know what you're looking at there, and we'll move and find out if we'll be lucky to see waffles. Waffles have the youngest and the latest edition of cubs in the North Clan. And I remember when Jamie Patterson, one of my fellow guides, was watching waffles a few weeks ago. She first found waffles with 1 cub, and she came in the camp and told us she has been able to see waffles, and she was very excited because she thought she saw her with 1 cub. And I think a few days later she came back and said, you know what, guys, I think waffles has 2 cubs and not 1. What we did not understand, and even now, why it took rather long for waffles to bring out 1 cub, or why she had 1 cub out and not the other. All right, they have always preferred such flat areas, hyenas, for their dens. Sorry, Lou, and just how often what? And I'll tell you, where we are here in the Mara Triangle, we got 3 main clans. We got the North Clan, we got the South Clan, and we have another clan that we call the Happy Zebra. In general, we have been following the North Clan, and they have always lived together. Occasionally, and you'll see them split, and they'll split, I would say, for sourcing of food or for looking, for resources to feed their young ones, but not for long before again they regroup together. So this is the areas, or this is the area that we saw waffles yesterday. We are trying to chance, as much as the sun is still pretty strong, to find out whether we could see her. We'll take a left here, and not very far from the den, where we think her last litter, not the current one she has, she dropped them around here. Occasionally, you'll see them all separated, like 10 there, 5 there, 2 here, or 1 here. But the times you might see about 40 of them together. We'll always have an idea how many there are in total, but it's a very difficult NG to see, say, the North Clan of 70 all together at one point. For the obvious reasons, they have to spread out to increase the chances of feeding. They don't want to be like crowded on a small prey. So you go hunt there, and the other ones will hunt in a different area. So keep heading towards the waffles den, and in the meantime, we'll take you across to Sydney.
I am right here where the wild dogs caught something this morning, and I'm trying to check if I can find this carcass. So I am still checking. I've been checking everywhere, but it seems like the other species came and stole it. So, but not too sure. I'm still checking the drainage and everything. Maybe we might find something interesting. But at this stage, I can promise you, in the reserve, there's quite a lot of competition, both intra and interspecific competition. So the competition that involves the animals of the same species, just like what we saw yesterday when Hosanna and Tandy were fighting for the same food source. And also the fight between the hyenas and Hosanna yesterday. So I'm just gonna here and check if we can find this carcass. I got hooked by a branch here. I'm gonna have to go down the vehicle and take it off. Ew, it was a big branch. So it is here where that carcass was. And it will be interesting if we see what happened to that carcass afterwards. There is no sign at the moment about that. Yeah, it was a very big branch and it was making a lot of noise and it was disturbing my trekking because it was drawing a line alongside the vehicle. So you can see that in the bush nothing is wasted. So when something is left on the ground, other animals are gonna eat. Even things in the form of droppings, the dung beetles are gonna come and eat. So droppings are also very special food, very, very special food for some of the animals. So I'm just now right alongside the drainage line where I am hoping there has been quite a lot of competition taking place here. So these animals cleaned everything. There is no evidence at all. No evidence at all. And it was a big carcass. I saw it this morning. So now let's go back to the Chitwa Dam and see Taylor is driving around the Chitwa Dam. Not sure if maybe she got something interesting at the moment.
Well, if he'd said cheeky blonde, I mean, I don't think that he would be wrong. Okay, down we go into the little dip. I miss the little barn owls. Who remembers the barn owls that lived in the Hammerkop nest? But they're no longer around. Sadly, they would have fledged a long time ago. But that was, I don't know, so much fun, such a great time with them. Okay, so what we're doing now is we're just going up. We're going to go over the dam wall, Chitwa Dam wall again, and then we're going to go back to Juma and start looking for some cats. So I was hoping that I was going to be able to show you Sibuya, because I have not seen that female leopard before. She was seen, woo, well there must be a sighting somewhere, because Sheldon is on the move. I'd be too nervous to go that quickly over the dam wall. I'd fall, I'd end up driving into the water. Anyways, I think Sheldon's on his way to Sibuya. So basically she's been found on a net just out of our reach. I also don't think we would have had any signal down there. One day I'll come back to see that leopard. Her and Tiani, and maybe I'll get the chance to see Shidulu, because last time I saw her was 2016. You see what I'm looking at, have you? There's Egyptian geese. Sorry, that's why I was staring. And the way they were behaving, it was like there was a small predator or something on the ground. Is there a snake anywhere? Have they seen a leopard? Maybe they're just, I don't know, being Egyptian geese. That's also the other option. You know, one is sort of chirping away, but not doing an alarm call. It was more the behavior, the way it was fluffing itself out and kind of wanting to open, fluffing itself in its wings. Nah, doesn't look like there's anything there. False alarm. False alarm, everyone. Right. Let's go. Yes, Louise, a domestic dispute is probably what it could have been. Okay. Just checking if there's anything interesting that has developed since we've left Chitwa Dam. It doesn't look like it. Nah. Too early for the hippos to start playing around too. They need about another 30 minutes. But I do want to find a leopard this afternoon because I feel like if we could have a leopard or a lion, my goodness, that would be incredible. Okay. Well, we're going to head on towards check the western boundary and then pop onto the property. But off we go back to the Mara with David, who is at a hyena den.
All right, Taylor, head out to Juma. You might be more lucky having left Chitwa. And we just got to what I was talking about. I think we are winning, me and Manu. And how lucky to see the matriarchy of Waffles with one of her cubbies. Hello, Waffles. So that's one cub. Now, we need to see the other one, and I'm not sure what both of you are saying, and you could be communicating and ideally just bonding a mother and a baby. Not sure whether Jamie Patterson knows whether the cubs are males or females. Personally, I have no idea. Manu, do you have an idea? All right, Manu also says no. And there, two of them now have popped up, and how sweet, how lucky. After such a big yawn, and the cub and the mother are like, oh, we love you, Mom. How sweet is that? Remember, any questions you may have or any comments, tweet #SafariLive. And for those who are joining us for the first time, this one particular hyena you see here, she is called Waffles, and she is the matriarch or a leader of a group or a clan of hyenas that we call the North Clan, and we are in the Masai Mara Triangle in Kenya. Those are her two cubs, and all that is bonding of a mother and her youngsters. Don't bite that. What she is trying to bite now is a collar on the mother, and we got some researchers who have been following this particular hyena for such a long time, and they're from Michigan University, and it got a chip somewhere on that collar there, as you can see, which has helped us, or them, I would say more them than us, understand the behavior of hyenas. Jamie Patterson, who is my colleague, told me the other day that the research that is being done by the Michigan University could be the longest running research in the world. And I'm very happy that all of you are saying that's very cute. It's quite exciting. We tried this yesterday and we did not get it. We just found Waffles, or the female you see there, feeding on a baby toppy. But now we have a different joy. Her two bundles of joy are out. And if you look at them carefully, they don't seem to have spots. And a baby hyena, or the cubs when they're born, they're always dark in color. The spots will always develop much later. Hello, Waffles, and a very good afternoon. We cannot thank you enough, Waffles, for having let those cubs out for us. The times Jamie Patterson would have come here and stay for hours and hours with Manu and maybe not even see the face of the cubs. Is that right, Manu? Manu says yes, and sometimes it was so frustrating for them. But just see the joy we got. Sometimes out in the wilderness is a question of luck. Sorry, Michelle, what color? Oh, good question, Michelle, there. The color on that hyena does not come off. It remains permanently there. What may happen, the chip or the small little device on that collar it may go low in battery and they may have to change that. And that's a bit of a challenge sometimes. And what they do, they'll just come and give it a small little dart, and very quickly, I would say under 10 minutes, they are able to replace the batteries and they'll continue picking the data they want. So that color remains permanently there, and that's exactly the device below it. You can see that part bulging, and they're able to relay the information from that device to their working station or from their camp. Waffles, what do you want to do? All right, they're even coming out. They're getting more bold. I think with time, as they get older, excuse me, they get more courage, and they're not as afraid or skittish as they were when they were a lot younger than they are now. And I think specifically in this one particular den, Waffles stays there with her two young ones. I would guess. I wouldn't know where Soup, who is a granddaughter of Waffles, she stays. All right, keep coming out. How epic is that? Good balance, good courage, but don't go very far from Mama. I can see it is genitalia hanging out there, but I can tell you that cannot tell you whether she is a boy or a girl. It's very difficult. We have seen females that look like, males, unless you're very lucky to see the mammary glands on the females. But if you'd look at the reproductive organs to tell them apart, we make so many mistakes. Even after staying with these hyenas for so many years in the bush, we never know how to tell males from females, and more so when they're young ones like this. Please come out again. Hyenas have been known to eat all types of carcasses, including impala carcasses.
I am right at the crime scene at the moment, and the evidence I've got here is from two different species. I've got the evidence showing that the vultures has been here. You can see I've got some of the feathers. These feathers, they were all taken off from the vultures. And apart from this, I have seen also the tracks of the hyenas going around, but there is no remains at all. So all these animals that has been here, they ate anything and everything. So there is no evidence left apart from the blood on the ground here. I can see that here I have got some blood from the impala. Yeah, the smell now is starting to get very old. It doesn't smell fresh, but it does give the signal that something has been killed here. So now I am sure that this carcass has been taken away by the hyenas after the vultures also got a share on it. So that's why I've been looking around here, battling to get hold of the carcass. The carcass is no more here. So I'm going to now carry on and see if we can find something interesting. Probably later on I will go back to Hosanna and see if Hosanna is going to go back to the very same tree where he's hiding a decker this morning. So these hyenas ate everything because there is no drag marks at all, nothing. So everything that has happened, it happened at the crime scene. And after the crime scene, there is nothing to show. So now I'm just going to drive out here. MG Sydney, he is now becoming a very strong. So I'm just short of one very good equipment. I'm short of the good sense of smell. I can smell very well, but I think I must have to duplicate the amount of my smelling ability so that I can pick up the carcass and everything from far. So now let's go to David, who is watching the hyenas.
Well, I am not living here in the next, I do not know how many hours, because this is very epic. Look at that beauty of a mother hyena and her two cubs enjoying every minute they got here. I mean, for me and Manu, what else could we ask for from the wilderness? And it's like the inducing the joy they got to us, because me and Manu just looking at each other and smiling. I don't know why, but it's the happiness in these two cubs that we're enjoying. Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to our Sunset Drive, and we are coming to you from the Mara Triangle in Kenya. Look at how exciting it is to see a spotted hyena with her two cubs just enjoying themselves. We have one at the moment, but there's another one inside that den. Please, should you have any questions for us, don't be shy. Send them or tweet on #SafariLive. Any comments you may have, also don't be worried, just send it to us. And how exciting this. So the hole you see is what we call a den of a hyena. And for those who are joining us for the first time, this particular hyena that you see here, it's called the Wafus. And there's a particular clan of hyenas in this area we are that is called the North Clan, and she is the leader. She is the matriarch of that clan or group of hyenas, which numbers to about 70 plus. So if you look carefully, she got a collar on her neck, and that's because she is so important in this clan, and you got people or researchers who have been following her for a very long time. So on the collar, there's a small little device or like a radio or like a chip that carries all the data the researchers will need to know where she is, what she is doing, and should they want to see her, they can just see her in a heartbeat. How exciting this is. And I'm sure very soon the cubs will come out again. Hello, Afos. Will you turn around and we can see your face? And this is very wonderful to see the hyenas. Sometimes they tend to be away. And my name is David, for those who have not met me before. And with me is Manu. Chris, hyenas have been known to steal holes or dens of other animals, but also, if need be, they are able to dig. How nice is that? They are able to make their own holes or dens. But in general, they always patronize dens that have been done by other animals. For example, aardvarks, and mainly aardvarks, which will just dig holes looking for termites, and then they move on. But if need be, Chris, hyenas can also dig their own holes, and especially if a mother like this one is just about to drop her young ones, she doesn't get a nice place to do that, she may dig her own den. Hello there. So looking carefully, Chris and all the other nice viewers who just joined us, you can see the color of that is different from the mother. Now my guess is these cubs, we first saw them at the beginning of August when they were a few days old. We're not at the beginning of September. I would say they could be about 6 weeks old. Man, do you recall about 6 weeks old? Many things. So the first time we saw them was at the very beginning of August, man, and I would guess they could be 6 weeks old now. I was saying earlier, they look very different from the mother. They look dark in color, and when hyena cubs are born, are always black or dark in color. Sean, they may nurse, for example, the hyena cubs for about a year and a half before they separate. And depending on what sex they are, hyenas, if the cubs are females, they'll always stick in the clan and not move away. But we have found out if they are males, they'll always be kicked out by the matriarch. Are you having a poo break, or what are you doing there? And you can see its genitalia, it's out. And again, as I said earlier, it's very difficult to say it's a boy or a girl. We have seen females also having a pseudo penis, or what you call a false penis, as much as their females. So females cubs will always stay together. Kayleen, good question. I would say until they're about a year, because at about the age of about 14 months, 15 months or so, you can slightly see the mammary glands starting to pop up. And that way, Kayleen, you can say 100%. That's a female, and that's a male if you don't see the mammary glands. But apart from that, the other way we tell them apart, males or females are always slightly larger in size than males. Hello, where is the other cub? Why is the other cub not coming out? The first time we saw them early in August, we only saw the mother with one cub and not the other. And we initially thought she only gave birth to one. And a few days later, another cub was found. And it was a bit of, I'm not sure to say celebration, to realize as a matriarch how she would drop one. It's normal. They once in a while will drop one cub. But more often than not, they'll also have two. Go call your sister or your brother to come out. Why are you playing alone there? Playing with grass, trying to bite grass as much as they are carnivores? How sweet is this? I'm sure if Jamie Patterson was here, she'd be like, oh, sometimes she lacks words to talk about. Jamie Patterson is my co-guide. She's away on leave. She loves these hyenas, and especially the waffle. Rachel, very good, so amazing. You can watch this live, and I'll tell you, Rachel, this is what SafariLive is all about. We'll always bring to you live and direct, as my friend Brent likes saying, 100% live, and you'll see it in real time. So what you're watching now is exactly what is happening. Thank you, Rachel. That's a great comment. And I'm sure there are other millions of viewers who are truly captivated by such, actions or sightings that we're showing you all the way from Africa. And as I said earlier, we are in a place called the Mara Triangle in a country called Kenya in Africa. Not sure, she's trying to pull out grass from the ground there, but just like human beings, children are always very different. So this particular one is so playful and just wondering where the other one is. And I was talking to Manu earlier, and I was asking him, why do you think we have one playing and not the other? And Manu said, because this is a boy. And I told him, nonsense. Manu, are you still holding that theory? You think so? Yeah, Manu now agrees that doesn't hold sense. So it could be a girl also, but yes, and Lou in the final control says, yeah, Manu, you're a joker. I mean, this has been very epic, and how exciting to have all of you here. What will happen, we'll continue showing you these exciting moments from the wilderness of Africa, and you can continue watching us on the YouTube, on the internet, on the chat stream, as we find out what this cub is trying to do as we wait for the other one to come out. Many thanks for having been there. gonna wait. Whoops! what does that mean, Waffles? You have to be careful. That's your cub. Yeah, that's your baby. You don't throw your baby like that. Yes, and yeah, Lou in the final control says that was quite amazing. But again, I think at this age, a month and a half going to 2 months, they start getting very playful. They're full of nonsense and, of course, full of energy. They can see what's happening there. They're trying to sniff anything they can smell. Having been maybe kept in that den by Waffles for such a long time, I'm sure they're picking up now different scents in the outside world. And now just trying to study the grass, maybe taste it, and maybe trying seeing how strong the jaws are. Hyenas have been known to be some of the animals with pretty strong jaws. Manu, I have to thank you so very much for your great camera work. Very good. Just making sure we get to, the mother and this band of joy playing. We need to get the other cab out. And I am not leaving this area until the other cab comes out. I'm not sure whether Taylor is winning. The fact now, she is back in Juma from Chitwa.
That's correct. I am indeed back on Juma. I was concentrating on driving. So I've just heard on the game drive radio, which is why I'm sort of racing, but also not really. It's like the combination between trying to get home before the traffic, but also a Sunday afternoon cruise. Well, that's what I'm trying to go for anyway. Is that there was a wild dog sighted on Buffels Hook. So that's the property just north of Juma. And the dog was just one dog. And there was also a hyena, apparently, that it's moving south. Now, we all know, well, for all of you who've been watching forever and ever, and anyone that's been lucky enough to see wild dogs in the wild, you'll know that they can move exceptionally quickly. So I'm trying to get into that area as fast as I can so that I can wait on the boundary and hope that that dog keeps coming sort of south. So that's what we're going to do. We're actually probably going to go past... We will be going past Sydney. So, but we won't stop to say hello to Hosanna. I think we'll just wave as we go along. Okay. Also still just checking around. So I did basically a boundary patrol, went all the way down Triple M. No luck. Not a sign that anyone has crossed in. No leopard tracks leaving, none coming in, and the same goes with lions. So the Nkuhumas are not here, they're not around. They must still be somewhere on Arathusa, or perhaps they've gone back towards Elephant Plains, which seems to be an area that they've been enjoying for the last little while. So we'll just carry on down here, we'll go past the dam, and then we'll go all the way to Gari, a cut line. Anyways, speaking of seeing Hosanna and Sydney, which we'll do now, let's go back to them and see if they wave at us.
I am now back at Hosanna. You can see Hosanna is very much pretty relaxed there, but looking at something. A lot of impalas were drinking just now, and they're not very far away from the water hole. I can say approximately the distance between the impalas and Hosanna at this stage is about 200 meters or less. You can see that his whole concentration is right there. But I am full at the moment. I don't think he will be motivated enough to go and hunt again unless an animal comes towards his direction. That is when I think he can take action. Oh, there's another head of impala coming. That's why you can see he's lowering the head a little bit there. He's looking at a small head, and this small head seems to be very much inquisitive. I can see that he's lowering the head. He doesn't want anything to spot him. And it's quite a very small head. Let's see what's going to happen. You can see that the head is focused. It's now on a binocular vision. So if you look at the arrangement of the eyes on all predators, the eyes are on top of the head, so that during the hunting activities, he can be able to lower the head and still maintain the focus. So when the eyes are there, he can be able to judge a distance before starting to chase an animal. So I can see now the impalas are approaching the dam. So the dam is not very far from here. Look at that. Nancy, the leopards, they don't go specifically for swimming when it's too hot. Mostly they can swim when they are trying to get hold of something. When trying to get something which is on the other side of the dam, they can use the dam to cross over. They can swim very well to go and catch. So that is what they normally do. Oh, he spotted something again. You can see he's trying to hide. Look at that. So then he was hiding away from the monkeys. You can see that he's not looking at them. He's looking at the impala while hiding himself. He knows very well that the monkeys, they are going to sing some songs about his presence. So what the monkeys are saying now is a song such as, "Be careful, Hosanna is here. Be careful, Hosanna is here." That is what those monkeys are saying to the impalas. And if you look at the impalas now, if you go to the impalas are now concentrating on the song. You can see now that that one is drinking, but one of them is listening. So this one might also join the warning calls. Look at the pupil of that impala, is so very large. These animals, they've got a very good eyesight, and they can even see very well without moving the head. You can see that impala is not settled at all, because he has been informed by the radio monkey. So I don't know if the impalas can understand the language spoken by the monkeys completely, or they can only understand the warning signs. So let's see, another one is coming. No, Hosanna narrowly escaped a very dangerous bite yesterday from one of the hyenas. He is not injured at all. I have seen Hosanna this morning, and I've also seen him walking this afternoon. And you must also remember that after the kill for this morning, he managed to kill another animal. After that kind of a drama yesterday, this animal is still very healthy, not injured at all, and he managed to catch two completely different species. So you can see that it's not injured at all. So you can see now that he is leaning against the dead tree, but hiding the head right by the green trees. So these monkeys, they've got a very good eyesight because they are so very far away from where I am. But they can spot him. Unbelievable. So they've got an advantage of scanning very nicely, a very wide vision, because they are scanning from the top of these trees. So now let's go to Taylor, who might be having some wild dogs at the moment.
How incredible is this, everybody? Now, it's quite difficult to see, but there is a whole pack of wild dogs, and there are even some puppies. Look at the small ones. Apparently there's 6 of them, and I haven't seen them before. How amazing is that? Now, they've just gone off of an area that we can, of course, drive on, unfortunately, but let's see if they come back. Oh, I hope they do. You know what the dogs are like. They zigzag all over the show and could quite easily come back onto the main road. But there's just a little glimpse of them, which is better than nothing. I know. Everyone's now saying they're sorry, the dogs are going back into Buffelshoek, but that's fine because I've got patience and I'll just patrol up and down the boundary and hope that they do come back off onto the main road again. Well, that's the idea behind it anyways. Very cool. Very, very, very cool indeed. Okay, now I don't know how we're going to get around this because we... let me try and navigate here and see if these guys go through. I mean, okay, we'll just go to the back of the queue. Okay, we'll see if we can get another gap. Right, where are they? We might still get a view of them. Luckily for us, see, we've got a big camera and we can zoom in a lot further than most of these guys can. Mara maneuver, everyone. We'll just do this. And go around. Otherwise we're going to get stuck sitting behind cars. That's how we do. Okay, I'm just quickly trying to see. You can see them, Viv. They're running. They're running. Okay, Viam has pointed out the dogs to me. They are sprinting as we speak. They must be chasing something of the fact that they've got to those speeds. Let's hope whatever they're chasing comes running on this way up here because it does open up. Now that's very, very cool. I don't know how old those puppies are, but they must be about, I don't know, 12 weeks or so if they're already following the adults around. They actually look a bit bigger. Maybe they're closer to, I don't know, 4, 8, 12, 16, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 months old now, maybe somewhere around there. Just trying to do maths. But I didn't get a good view, so we'll see when they come up. But that's so exciting. I also don't know, maybe you can tell me a bit more about which pack of dogs it is, because I haven't got a clue. James just told me today that there were some dogs with puppies just on Buffelshoek, and I can imagine. Super smile. Okay, I'm going to just switch off. Yes, a Ferrari. Oh, there's the stutter coming back. A Ferrari Safari it is. No, I can't see anything more. So we're just kind of looking. And again, we were talking about the coloration of the wild dogs. That white really does stand out. And if you can sort of see flashes of it every now and then. So I have to tell you a funny story. So we arrived in the sighting and the guy that was here had a bunch of young fellas on his vehicle. They all had no shirts on, all of them, all flexing their muscles as we came in. So naturally, because of who I am, I whistled. I did a wolf whistle to all of them. You should have seen their eyes were like this. And I started laughing. I don't think they knew what to say. And then they did. Then they were waving. It was very funny. It was quite entertaining. You've got to provide a lot of entertainment. Hang on, here we go. Standing by. Getting an update. Just getting a quick update. It's good news. Okay, copy. I've just gone quite a bit further forward on Buffelshoek boundary, but I'll turn around and go back through the dip. Thank you so much. So it sounds like the dogs are running. Like I said, they're zigzagging. I mean, there's nothing... they're definitely chasing after something. And they're obviously like splitting up and going all different directions. So I'll just face this way because I can quite easily reverse. But maybe we go down a little bit further and maybe one gets to come this side. Because he said they only went about 100 meters further from where we are. So I think if we go back that way, we'll just go back to this road, which is just on the other side. We'll keep our eyes fixated off to the right. So they're running east and they're running south and they're running east again. Maybe they've run through an impala herd that have scattered. Let's see, maybe everything will be in our favor today. I did try as quickly as I could to get to the sighting because I know even just a glimpse of wild dog puppies, I've not seen them. I've not seen wild dog puppies since I've been at Wild Earth. The last time I saw them would have been early 2016. It's been quite a long time, and I've had some incredible sightings with youngsters, with the Toulon pack in particular, which is a pack of dogs that hangs around down south. Okay. So we were around, it was around here. I mean, we did see some of them a little bit further up. I'm also trying to listen out if I can hear that other vehicle. I can hear voices all the way down in there. So I think they're still here. I can hear a vehicle starting now. They're shouting, all the young fellas. That was probably my favorite thing to see. Those were South Africans on a safari. Thank you, Anna Marie. That's very sweet of you to say. Yes, the luck has definitely been on my side for a change. In terms of sightings, I mean, yeah, we just got a glimpse of those wild dog puppies, but it's better than nothing. You could clearly see which ones were the youngsters. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what pack it is. I don't know how old they are. Like, they must be at least 4 months, between 4 and 6 months if they're running around with a pack. We'll have to just see. Can't hear anything now. VM obviously had the right idea, the way that he was scanning. Still just listening. I can't hear where that vehicle's gone now. No. They're obviously just out of sight, just a couple of 100 meters. So even with the dry vegetation, it is a little bit difficult for us to see all the way in there. But this is the time of the day that they do like to hunt. I've actually seen many, many wild dogs hunting in sort of this crepuscular period. What is that down there? I don't know where our hyena friend went. Nothing, just a branch on the road. So I was looking at that quarry tree overhanging in the road. From a distance, it looked like there was something maybe laying there. But that's not the case at all. Where could they have gone? Here the babblers going again, but I mean, babblers are very chatty birds anyways. Right. Okay, well, I think we'll hang tight, and I'm going to chat to Greg to find out if those wild dogs are going to make their way back here. Let's keep our fingers crossed. However, David has got a beautiful view of the Mara and as well as the setting sun.
Hopefully the dogs will come to Juma and Taylor are going to show us better stuff. But as time is going here, we are seeing some magnificent sunset from the Masai Mara in Kenya, and that sky is just fantastic. Look at the clouds there and see the sun going down and the colors is leaving behind. All the beautiful colors that would cross in your mind are what we have there: black, yellow, orange, peach, white. All very peaceful colors, I would say. Excellent camera work there by Manu. Very well done. Many times I've always said sunsets and sunrises are seen all over the world, but I think from Africa they're rather special. Manu, do you agree? Yes, Manu doesn't say special like me. He says super special. And that's the backdrop you see there in the background of the Olololo escarpment. When I've been talking of the Mara Triangle, the Mara Triangle Game Reserve where we are in has 3 arms of a triangle, and that escarpment you saw there is one of them, that is called the Olololo, and there the arm of the triangle is the famous Mara River, and then the last or the base of the triangle is the boundary between Kenya and a country south of it called Tanzania. So you can see the silhouette of the Olololo escarpment there as slowly the sun is fading away, and it's going to leave us these beautiful colors to digest for the night. as you have been having such a great day today. Fantastic. Not sure we might have some rains later tonight because those clouds to me looks rather thick. Manu, can you smell rain? Manu thinks yes, it might rain, and great comment from all of you viewers that this is truly beautiful. And for those of you who have never been to Africa, we'll always request you when you come visit us in Kenya or in South Africa, and you'll have first-hand experience of what we enjoy here on a daily basis. I'm not sure I'd want to do any other job than what to do. This is the best job I've done for many years, and I want to keep here. And our hyenas haven't gone anywhere. We still got Waffles with us, and she's still outside the den. And the cubs, I'm not sure because it's getting a bit chilly. Both of them, even the one that was a bit playful, have gone back in the den. But the mother, who is Waffles, is still out there. Those of us, or those of you who might have joined us now, the hyena you see there is a female, and we call her Waffles, and she is a matriarch or leader of a very big clan of hyenas that we call the North Clan. She has done a wonderful job, and sometimes we have given her a nickname. I've been calling her Commander because she has been able to keep that clan together. And if there are any issues, she has been able to put everybody where she or he belongs. As we go back to the sunset, I'm still enjoying that sunset. I mean, it still can't go, and I'm just requesting Manu to give me another moment where I might have to keep my mouth for about 15-20 seconds to enjoy that when I don't even want to hear myself talking. I'm requesting Manu to do something that he likes calling time-lapse, because these are things when once we finish work at the end of the drive over dinner or after dinner, we'll always sit and watch, and we're like, how lucky we are to be working where we are. My silence is being interrupted by some crickets and some zebras in the background. And wildebeest. That is just magnificent. And yeah, Louis, the final control says the interruption is all the better. It's just making everything look or sound colorful. I got a friend of mine who is a camera operator in Juma called Sebastian, and I'm sure if he would see this, he would say, this is magnifique. And it's something you'd watch and watch until it gets dark, or until your eyes would can't open anymore. Those clouds, as I said earlier, tells me some signs of rain. Maybe not tonight, but maybe the next couple of days. We are slowly going to the short rains now, which normally come in October. The long rains this year were rather long and huge, but hopefully we don't get as big rains as we had before, because the hyenas, for example, the waffles that we watch here, if we go back to her den, which man will be showing you shortly, that den was covered by water, and until it dried up, they had to relocate to go to a different area. Now, I do not know what is the latest with the wild dogs with Taylor all the way in Juma.
Yeah, sorry, I'm listening to the game drive. I have listened. I can hear everybody. No need to panic. Calm down, relax. I heard. I'm just listening to very important information on the game drive radio. There goes the dog, because I'm trying to hear if they've made a kill so I can understand what this dog is going to do, so I can anticipate its behavior a little bit better. That dog has definitely got blood on it, but Greg has since said to me that they've made a kill where he is. There it goes. So I'm not really sure. But he said they're still basically where we were sitting. He says he's still got most of the pack just there. That's obviously where that dog is running back to. Maybe he's trying to find the pack. Sometimes what dogs will do is they'll make a kill, they'll try and find the rest of the pack and call them on in. Their priority is to feed those puppies. So they'll gobble as much as they can up. Obviously when they're at the den site, they'll go back and regurgitate food for them, but they want those puppies to eat as much as they can too. And it's amazing how they understand how important it is. Especially you kind of see it with lions as well, with young lions, how they're tolerated around the kill when they're only a couple of months old, but then as soon as they get older and can sort of hold their own, everybody then, it's fair game and everybody sort of squabbles. I'm looking, I think there. One dog is running again down. I think it is looking for the pack. So when they go off hunting, it's quite easy for them to get separated, and you see it very, very often. Like I said, they'll all go running, chasing after one thing, and then half of them get lost. Then one might beam on straight after an animal, and then will successfully bring it down. Ah, there's another one. Another dog just ran. Maybe they've made a kill here. Maybe they've just given us the slip and run in between us while we were turning the vehicles around. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I'm happy for these guests up in front that got to see them because they just missed the dogs. At least they've had a quick glimpse. I don't know where they are. Okay, they've gone back into Buffelshoek now. Now we just kind of have to wait. Unfortunately, this is the problem. We are unable to traverse into Buffelshoek, but they're there. I can hear the other vehicle driving around now. Those dogs must be on the move. I just want to try and listen. Sorry, I'm trying to focus on what's actually going on. Obviously, this is particularly difficult. Yeah, I can hear the puppies. I can hear them making a noise. They're feeding now. It sounds like what's happening. You won't be able to hear it, unfortunately. It sounds like those dogs are squabbling over a kill right now. So obviously they found one another again. Let me see if I can hear it again. I'm actually going to just take my earpiece out quickly. Just hear them every now and then. It's the most incredible sound. Kind of like how I love to listen to vultures squabble over a kill. The sounds of wild dogs and how excited they all are is pretty outstanding. We got something there, Vian.
I saw one.
Did you see one?
Yeah, it's sitting there.
There we go. Okay, coming back to the main road.
That's fine.
Okay, let's turn around. So quickly reverse. Okay, perfect. The VM obviously spotted one behind us. If they come, it'll be nice if they come and drink here, or either at Wurtele Dam and, maybe chase Hosanna around a little bit. Here's one dog. How awesome is that? Oh, look at the coloration on that dog. That front left shoulder, very pale. Has anybody given any information, Louise, yet as to which pack it is? Or because I really don't know what to go on from. Here's another dog just in front of us as well. This looks like a male, big male here. Oh, please bring the puppies. Please let the puppies come on through. Doesn't look like it's eaten anything though, this one. Oh, how awesome is this? We've literally been handed every single sighting that I wanted to today. I'm going to turn around again. I'm going to keep an eye out here. But anymore they're going to run the same route. Maybe they will. I hope they do. I hope they do. Okay, so they went round that way. let's hope. There they go. What are they doing? What are they doing? Coming back down again. I'm just trying to think. Okay, both of them are running. They're going to meet up. Very, very exciting stuff. There they go. Okay, well, we're going to try and follow these dogs to see where they're off to. But school drive is about to start, so Sydney's off to greet them and welcome them to the show.
I have got one of the big five here. This is the only cat amongst the category of the big five with the spots. Is the only spotted cat. Talking in terms of the big five, I'm talking about the leopard, the one we are seeing now, the elephants, the rhino, the buffalo, and the leopard. I'm repeating the leopard again. And a very, very good afternoon and welcome to the beginning of the afternoon game drive. I am Sydney. I'm not traveling alone this afternoon. I am with Tenzo, who is my camera operator, and also I am joined by Kenny, who is my guest. For your questions and comments, you can follow us on SafariLive, hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. You can also follow us on YouTube chat stream. So kids, welcome to the beginning of the show, and you must ask your teachers to ask us questions. Look at that. You can see that I have got a very lovely cat here. He is very much relaxed at the moment. He had his first meal of the day. I think he had 2 different meals already. Oscar, I am not scared of the animals here by the safari at all, because I am not only doing the game drives, I'm doing the game drives and game walks. And when I'm out on game walks is where I am having a close contact with these animals. But apart from that, I have been working with these animals for quite a long time. Look at that. Now we can see the cat is moving. Let's see where he's going. But now let's go to one of my colleagues, Taylor, who got something interesting for you.
Hello to all of you who have just joined us. You are so lucky this afternoon, because you are looking at one of the most endangered carnivores in Africa, and they are called wild dogs or African painted dogs. My name is Taylor, and on camera with me is VM. And look at all the babies. Look at all the tiny puppies. Hello. They are so gorgeous. Oh, look at their short little legs. Wow, I have not seen wild dog puppies for over 2 years, maybe even a little bit longer than that. Now, they have had dinner, because you can imagine these young puppies need to eat as much as they can. That's so important. Now, I don't really know how old they are. I'm guessing between 4 and 6 months, but now that I've seen them for the first time, I think that they're probably around 4 months old. So they would have just come out and started joining the animals when they go hunting. This is magnificent. Look at those big ears too. Now, it's important that they have those really big ears like that, because they need to listen, they need to hear exactly what's going on, especially when they need to try and find themselves some dinner. There they go, off they go running. But that is really precious. Now remember, you can ask your teacher to ask us some questions. Maybe there's something that you want to know about these wild dog puppies. This is so beautiful. And they're all just sitting in the sand. They're exhausted now. Aaliyah, I feel so wonderful about seeing all the animals. I think I'm really lucky to have a job like this, to be able to spend time with this wonderful wildlife. Look at those sharp teeth. Who of you at home have had puppies, or maybe have a puppy at the moment? You'll know that it's never fun to play for too long, because they can get a little bit rough and those teeth are like needles. But luckily, they've all got one another to play with, so they can leave mom and dad alone. Oh, this is so precious. I really can't stress to you how lucky you are to see them. There's only a few thousand left in Africa. We are very, very, very spoiled. They don't really look like the dogs you get at home, though, hey? Don't you think they look a little bit like Mickey Mouse? Those big ears. Haley, I've seen quite a few wild dogs. I've been very lucky. And that's because I've been working up in this area. So this area is called the Sabi Sand, or the Greater Kruger. And it's a beautiful wilderness area. So I've been up here for a few years. And I've seen, I can't even tell you how many different packs of dogs I've seen, or how many individual dogs I've actually seen. But I've seen lots of them. Look at them all biting one another's bottoms now and tails. And it's really cool. I was just telling all the other viewers just before you joined us that when they do find themselves some dinner or breakfast or lunch, the adults will make sure that these puppies eat food first, because they know how important it is for them to grow up and they need their strength. So the adults will sometimes go hunting a couple of times to make sure that everybody is well fed in the pack. And I was looking at the adults' tummies, and their tummies weren't big at all. So it's very kind of them to let these young ones eat, because they can't feed themselves just yet. They're still too young. And now, of course, they're going to play with one another. This is amazing. Listen to them. And you'll also see they've become quite relaxed with the vehicles too, so it wouldn't surprise me if they even run underneath my car. Oh, look at that. A puppy pile. This is truly amazing to see something like this. Now, there is obviously lots of other safari vehicles out here to join us. There we go. VM is just going to watch those ones on that side. But I couldn't have, well, I've chosen a better day to spend it out here with these beautiful creatures. Off they go, running around, chasing one another. They are so cute. All picking on one. There's a game of cat and mouse this afternoon. Quickly run, hide. All I want to be doing is taking illegal photos now, as you can imagine. So everyone that is watching, to all our regular viewers too, please send screenshots. And for those of you in the classroom today, maybe you can ask your teacher to take some screenshots. Because, like I said, people have spend a lot of money to come on a safari to see animals like this. Oh, a bit of a tumble. Now they've gone all quiet again. Holding on to its tail nice and tight, saying, "Let go, don't bite my bottom." Not letting go just yet. That must be very sore. Ouch. Not trying to roll around on the ground. Not letting go, though. Finally, I'm free. And it's good that they play with one another, because all these wild dogs are going to stay in this pack and they're going to live with one another for the rest of their lives. Well, hopefully. And if they do this, they'll have a really good chance of being successful at catching dinner, breakfast and lunch, because you know what it's like. If you know your siblings, your brothers and your sisters very well, you can almost guess what they'd be thinking. Wow, we're so spoiled this afternoon. But they're tired now. So these wild dogs won't stay up for too much longer, especially that they've got something to eat. I actually think we might be the babysitters. Do you know that? I feel like Mom and Dad have said, right, Taylor, VM, you've got to look after the puppies for the rest of the evening. We're going to go and get ourselves some dinner. We're also going to go and have a drink of water maybe. So if you could just watch them for us. I feel like that's exactly what's happened. So how cool is that? These are wild animals. We don't interact with them. We don't touch them or anything like that. But the adults feel, or Mom and Dad feel comfortable enough to leave them with us. Isn't that amazing? So hopefully some of you would want to become a safari guide when you're big, because it's the best job in the world. Josie, wild dogs live pretty much for the same amount of time as a dog at home would live. So if they can get to about 12 years old, that's a good age. But remember, out here, living in the wild is a lot more difficult than our dogs that live at home and live in a garden and get fed every single day and can go to the vet if there's something wrong. So there's lots of difficult things that these animals need to face. Like there's lions out here. Lions don't like wild dogs very much because they compete with one another. So what that means is that they will fight over the same kinds of food. But lions are much bigger than the wild dogs and can kill them. And the same thing goes with leopards, although it's quite funny because the leopards often end up running up the trees to try and get away when the wild dogs come through. They're very cheeky. They like to chase around leopards. They fight with hyenas all the time. So it's difficult for them to live out here. So if they're between 10 and 12 years old, that's a very, very good age. Maybe you'll even find some wild dogs just living for a little bit longer than that. It's starting to settle down now. Kaimina, now wild dogs do not like to eat leaves and grass like elephants do. You can see they're covered in blood, so that means that they've eaten another animal. So they like to catch things like antelope, so impala and duiker and steenbok and maybe a little kudu, or if there's enough wild dogs, even a little zebra. But typically out here they hunt the smaller antelope. So I don't know what they caught. I didn't see what they'd eaten, but they've only just eaten now, maybe 20 minutes ago. Maybe not even that long ago. But what we will do is we're not actually going to stay with these dogs for too much longer. And the reason why is because these dogs are, we call it diurnal. Now, diurnal means that they typically are active during the day. So they like to stay awake during the day and do their hunting during the day. And at nighttime, they normally go to sleep. And they also try and do this to try and keep away from the leopards and lions that like to move around more at nighttime, and the hyenas. So it's very, very clever. The cheetah and wild dog are the predators, so the animals that like to eat meat. That's what we call a predator during the day, and then they leave the big and scary ones out at night. Very cool. But anyway, speaking of animals that are more active at night, Sydney's with Hosana. Let's see if he's woken up.
You can see now that Hosana is trying to have some dinner tonight. He is feeding. He has been having this food for quite a long time up in this tree. And earlier on, he had another food of a different animal. So it means the other food was too small, or he's just finishing this one first and go back to where he's hiding the other meal. He was very lucky. In less than 24 hours, he managed to catch 2 different species. You can see that the meat looks very much fresh there. He has been battling there where he is in order to grab nicely for feeding. So he is rearranging this food every time because he's battling to grab. He nearly fell earlier on and he nearly lost his food as well. So these animals are very much powerful. Kaylee, this is not the cheetah. This is a leopard. I know a lot of people, they have got a confusion between a cheetah and a leopard. If you look at this animal, the head looks very big and the mouth is also very wide. The cheetah has got a small head and a small mouth. And if you can check here on the eyes, the cheetah has got a tear mark. The black tear mark coming from the eyes down to the side of the mouth. The leopard doesn't have such. And the cheetahs, they don't climb trees, whereas the leopards, they climb trees. So leopards hunt on the ground, and eat from the tree. Cheetahs hunt on the ground and they eat from the ground. Heli, at this stage I am only seeing one feeding, but I have seen quite a lot of leopards before. Sometimes, if you are lucky, you can even see 3-4 leopards together. So, but here in Juma Game Reserve, at one stage, I have seen about 3 different leopards at the same time. And some of my colleagues, they have seen leopards more than that. A leopard is quite a very skillful animal. Climbing a tree is not easy, especially a tree which is straight like this. It's very equipped with very strong claws that is using in order to grab to go up there. Imagine that animal is not holding to anything but is just feeding. Adrian, the leopards, they are carnivores. Carnivores are the animals that feed on meat. So all they eat is meat, but sometimes, like what happened earlier this afternoon, they do eat grass. They only eat grass when they've got problems in their stomachs. So if they want to solve the problems in their stomachs, such as the tapeworms, when having the worms, they eat grass. But that does not necessarily mean that they are herbivores. They are not herbivores, they are carnivores, and all they eat is meat. And they have got special preference. They don't eat big animals. They normally target the lightweight animals in order to catch them and put them high up in a tree. Something too heavy is going to give him a challenge to pull it up to a tree. So now let's go to David, who's got some hyenas. Hyenas are one of the animals which makes the leopards to take the food up into a tree. He's avoiding those kind of animals. Let's see them.
Hello, children. And before I talk to you, can you just listen to that? Sorry, boys and girls, I wanted to say hello to you, but the hyenas... Oops, I may have to keep quiet again. Alrighty, boys and girls, what you have on your screen there is a hyena, and sorry, that's what we call a spotted hyena. And welcome to our sunset drive, and we are in the Masai Mara, and Masai Mara is a game reserve in a country called Kenya. And one thing I request from all of you boys and girls is to ask me any questions you may have through your teachers. What you got now there is a small little baby hyena, and I think she is nursing. Do you see that to your right of your screen? A baby hyena is called a cub, and what she's doing, she is suckling its mother. I think it's time for dinner now. It's about 7 o'clock in the night in Kenya. And normally this is time for dinner for most youngsters like you. So that is a hyena. And we got 3 different types of hyenas in Africa. This particular one, it's called the spotted hyena. Gabriela, you're the first one to ask me a question, and very well done. And you're asking how long can hyenas live? In the wilderness, like where we are now, hyenas have been known to live for about 12 years, sometimes 14 years. But out in captivity, if they live like in a house and given the best care possible, they could go 18 up to 20 years. But in average, Gabriela, hyenas live for about 12 years. So I was telling you earlier, this particular type of hyena is called the spotted hyena, and another name for it is the laughing hyena. Can you see another one moving there? You see that one moving there? And is sometimes, or they're sometimes called laughing hyenas because sometimes you hear them cackling. That's why you call them laughing hyenas. But the actual name for it is the spotted hyena. They live in big groups called clans. And the one you see there, it's the leader of this particular clan. So the groups of hyenas, if you want to say a noun or the group noun for hyenas, you can say a clan. And if you look carefully at this particular one, she got a collar on her neck, because we got people who do research on hyenas, and there's a university called there's a university in America that has been following the research on these hyenas. Alex, it depends on where you are. Can you just hear them, Alex? Look at them, they're just coming in, and that one, and that's how the hyenas say hello to each other, by sniffing at their backs. Can you believe that, Alex? So, Alex, hyenas are either dangerous or not dangerous, depending on where you are. They're dangerous to other smaller, say, predators or smaller cats like cheetahs, because they'll snatch their food. And they're not dangerous if you don't go into their way. So what we normally do, Alex, when we are out here where we are, we remain in the car and we do not come out. We respect them and they also respect us. Do you see the spots on the body? That's why we call them the spotted hyenas. They may look black and white because what we are doing now, we are using some very special light so that we don't shine any light on them, not to disturb them. But they are a bit creamish in color or khaki in color with some dark brown spot. That's the normal colors of the spotted hyenas. But now they all look a bit dark because, as I said earlier, it's dark where we are here in Kenya, in the game reserve called the Mara Triangle, and we're using special light that does not interfere with their normal behavior. You see, the one on the left looks like it's covered with mud, because when it's too hot, they'll always go and wallow in the mud just to keep cool. But ideally, they look like the one on the right with the spots. Hyenas could be busy either during the day or even at night, depending on where the food is. You see now that dark patch on the left is all mud. Another one just came in. All right. Now, hyenas are called predators because they hunt small animals called prey. But now we are going to move from these predators that I got here, and we'll take you to another predator all the way in South Africa.
Now I have got the cat, and the competitor has just arrived now. I can see that the hyenas has just arrived. I'm just gonna reverse nicely so that we can see both at the same time. Listen to that. So the hyena was just about to call just now, and I can hear that some of the hyenas are also not very far away. So, but this hyena have not yet spotted where the food is. So that hyena just decided to come and pass by, and the hyena did not manage to see Hosanna up by the tree. So you can see the long tail there. Debbie, the hyenas, they eat quite a lot of meat. It's just that in terms of the kilograms, I'm not too sure. But these kind of animals can eat up to 30 to 40 kilograms of food, which is too much. So I'm just now trying to reposition so that we can have a better sighting. Natalia, the leopards, they do both terrestrial and arboreal activities. The terrestrial animals is the animals that do their activities on the ground dwellers. And the arboreal animals is the animals that are able to sleep up by the trees like that. So leopards, they can rest on the ground and also up by the trees. During the day, by the trees which are very thick, trees with quite a lot of leaves, you will see them resting up there. So he's always coughing too much because when he's feeding, he is also absorbing and swallowing quite a lot of hairs from the carcass, and he must cough that. And some of the hairs, he does swallow them, and they must have to come out again after some time in the form of pellets. You will see the hair balls. All the hairs, they develop into small balls, and he is going to again vomit them. Joey, the leopards don't really have predators. The biggest threat of the leopard is just human through hunting activities as well as the diseases, but they don't really have predators. But the fight between leopards and other big predators can also be very vicious. They don't really predate each other. They only fight in order to compete for food. So now let's go back to David, who's got some hyenas. I've just picked up the wild dogs. The wild dogs are also heading towards this area. So you can see a very long tail hanging there. Looks like a spotted snake. So I'm not too sure how far is that call, but I did pick up the call from the wild dog somewhere much more towards the eastern side of the game reserve. It will be very great seeing them coming here. So the hyenas decided to disappear at the moment. I was wondering where the hyenas are, because normally shortly after a kill they arrive, but today it took them all day long. This is their first appearance since this prey has been caught. Josie, the leopards, in terms of the size, they look very small, but I can promise you this animal has got quite a lot of strength. Between the leopard and the lions, the leopard are way much more stronger than the lions. This animal has got an ability to drag something up into a tree after a big fight, because killing an animal is quite a big job. It's not easy. So the muzzle and the neck is very much strong. They are very much strong, and they are stronger than lions. So they don't want anybody to assist them. But if you can check, those other big predators such as the lions, they hunt as a team. But these ones, they hunt just by themselves. So they do everything by themselves. So there is still quite a lot of meat available there. So the animal that was caught is one of the small antelope that was a duiker. So this cat has got very strong teeth. You can hear the teeth crushing the bones. Now that is very much strong. So now let's see, my other colleague Taylor, who has just been with the wild dogs, is now starting to shine the spotlight to see the nocturnal life.
We did just have a little bit of nocturnal life. There was a genet, which I'll show you a picture of in a minute. I just want to quickly use my spotlight and see if I can see it again. It looked like a young one. It didn't look like it was fully grown. But it's like a cat crossed with a raccoon, crossed with a little leopard. Because it also has big spots on it. But I can't see where it went. Okay, let me find a picture for you in my book. Now, they're very, very shy animals, and they only come out at night time. Janet, so I'm going to go to where are the mammals? I don't know this book very well. Here's some mammals. Maybe we'll find it eventually if I just page through it. Yes, this looks like it was the right area. That is a serval. We're not looking for a serval. Here we go. There's a genet. We're also in infrared now, as you can see. So it looks all black and white. So that's the genet. It's a funny looking thing, and it's got a really long tail. I'm going to turn the page because I think there's two different species of genet. There we go. That one you can see the long tail now. Can you see that? With black and white rings around it, but then the rest of its body's got spots. But it's a funny looking thing, and they're very, very good at climbing trees. And they eat insects and all sorts of wonderful things. So it was a pity we didn't get to show it to you. But I only just saw a glimpse of it. But that's what we're looking for now. Is we're looking for remember we were talking about the word diurnal, which means animals that are out and active during the day. Now, nocturnal is the complete opposite. It means the animals that like to hang around at nighttime. There's lots of impala around here. I'm just going to go, we're going to sneak past them. We're going to see if we're looking for leopards at the moment, and owls, and genets and honey badgers and any of those animals. Excuse me, impala. I also don't have any headlights today. Aurora. So I have been working in the savannah for 3 years, just over 3 years now, and I've also worked in other areas though. So this, like you just said, the savannah, it's a type of biome. So that's the kind of vegetation, types of trees and plants that occur around here. And you get other types of biomes too. So I've worked in the Albany thicket biome. That's like, there's not a lot of trees, lots of small evergreen shrubs with lots of thorns on it, and very, very, very thick. You can't even see 5 meters into the bush. And then I've also worked in Zambia, which is really cool. So very, very different, very open. There's lots of trees that hug the river, so they have riverine thickets is what we would call them. Then I'm also down in the Eastern Cape. There's so many, so that's like the southeast coast of South Africa. That's where I'm from. It's very pretty down there. There's lots and lots of different types of vegetation. But I've been guiding for many years now. Not as many as Sydney though, or David. They've got a few years more experience than me. Sorry everybody, I tried to fix my lights, but then I put this cable tie to try and fix it, and then it didn't work, and then now no one has a knife on the car to cut it, so everything keeps getting stuck on it, and then I almost tangled the entire cord around the steering wheel, which is not going to be very good. So I'm trying to navigate without the lights and without causing any other problems. It's wonderful, as you can imagine. Aaliyah, you've asked if I've ever been hurt by an animal while on safari. No, I haven't ever been hurt by an animal. Can I tell you a funny story though? There's an animal called a wildebeest. We might see one because I saw one earlier sitting up on this area that we're driving in. So we'll try and find the wildebeest now. And once I saw this little one all by itself, all on its own, and I didn't know what was wrong with it. And the place I worked at, there was they sort of rescued animals. So I got out of my car with my guests, which you shouldn't do, so it serves me right. And I walked on over to this little wildebeest, and it sort of stumbled to its feet, and I thought, okay. And it looked very, very thirsty. It was dehydrated, so I think it was in the sun, it was young. Maybe it hadn't had enough of mom's milk, and it was weak. And I thought, oh, shame. So I wanted to see if it was okay. So I grabbed it by the horns, those tiny little horns that had just come through, which I shouldn't have done. It then promptly head-butted me and I fell over. And it was a tiny wildebeest of only like maybe 2 or 3 months old. So it was really small. I was much bigger than it. But it knocked me straight off of my feet. And all my guests were laughing. There was also another guide that had arrived, another safari guide with his guests that had arrived. And they watched the whole thing. And they were cackling, and then the wildebeest ran back to the herd, and it was fine. So it was quite funny. It was worth getting head-butted because at least it ran back to the herd again. Now I'm going to start searching the trees for bush babies. They're such cool little creatures. You know what is that show, VM, with all the wonderful animals? King Julian, Madagascar. I'm sure you've all watched Madagascar before, that cartoon. You know what, King Julian? The bush babies kind of look a little bit like him, but they're not the same. They're just to give you an idea of what they sort of look like. But hopefully I'll be able to find you one, and then that way you can just look at it with your own eyes. Okay, we're going to keep scanning the tops of the trees, but off we go back to Sydney to see if Hosanna has managed to give the hyenas the slip.
You can see that Hosanna is not disturbed by anybody because he took all these carcasses up by the tree. So he's very much pretty relaxed at the moment. All he's doing is feeding. So he was just investing all the energy during the day so that now he can be able to eat. After this, tomorrow morning, he's just going to lie down. I can see there's another daycare coming to drink there, and it's up by the tree. You cannot see it. So yeah, the leopards, they don't hunt every day. So these animals, they spend much time before they hunt again. Normally they will hunt after 4 or 5 days, but that is determined by the size of the previous prey. So if they catch something which is like a decker, what he's eating now, which can weigh up to 18 to 25 kilograms, that is enough for him alone. If there is no other competitors, that is going to make him to go on for a while, and he will again hunt after about 4 or 5 days. And the hunting activities, they are well motivated by what is in the stomach. When they've got something in the stomach, they don't really go for hunting. But remember, these kind of cats are very much opportunistic. Anything that comes their way, they will take it. So that I have seen, because also today he caught this daycare first that he's feeding on, and shortly afterwards a group of nyala came to the water hole and he caught a small baby. So he managed to catch 2 different animals same day on a very short space. And that happened while he was already started feeding by this daycare he's feeding now. Nicholas, the big 5 animals, they are called big 5 because it's the animals that were very much problematic when it comes to the hunting activities during the olden days. So those animals is the animals who started to associate the human beings with the killings. So the category of the big five can be dangerous. But apart from the big five, we do have animals here in Juma, such as the hippopotamus, who are not part of the big five, but who can tend to become very dangerous. Oh, you can see another duiker again is coming. So there's quite a lot of animals coming to drink by the waterhole at this stage. We are not very far away from the waterhole. I saw that there's two duikers already now close to each other. And that is telling me that this cat, Hosanna, is going to catch again. If you check right there now by the dam, there are two duikers, and this dam is not far away. There are two duikers who are feeding somewhere there, who are drinking water somewhere there. So I'm just going to wait and see what is going to happen. But possibilities of this cat to catch something again, they are very much high. Look at that. These two animals are drinking water at a distance of less than 150 meters away from the tree where this big predator is feeding on at the moment. So now let's see, Taylor with the spotlight is looking for some of the animals who are active much more now at night. Maybe she's lucky with something.
We're trying our best to find some animals. We're looking for, still looking for the bush babies, because I think that would be quite cool. But I haven't seen any bush babies yet since I've been back in South Africa. It's been a long time actually since I last saw one. There's bush babies in Kenya, so that's where I've been for a little while now. But they're bigger bush babies than the one that we get here, and they scream. They scream so loudly. What is that? Is that a rock monitor? It is. Can you hear? Listen. Listen to the hyenas. Yeah, listen. These are rock monitors, so they're big lizards. They're mating with one another. But listen to the hyenas. It's so cool. I bet Sydney can hear them too. Now, these are really cool lizards. This is, other than sort of crocodiles in terms of reptiles, the next biggest reptile is the one that we're looking at now. So we get two different kinds of monitor lizards. Earlier today, we were at Chitwa Dam, which is a huge watering hole. We saw water monitors or Nile monitors. These ones are called rock monitors, and they like to climb up trees. They're very good at climbing trees, and they live in little holes inside the trees too. This is so cool. So soon, that female, the girl rock monitor lizard, will lay some eggs. And then maybe in a little while there'll be some babies, which will be very, very cool. This is amazing to see. I think there's fighting happening between hyenas and maybe wild dogs. So you know those wild dogs came back onto Juma again. That is very, very cool to see. Wow, we're on a roll today. We have seen every single animal out here, but we're going to carry on. I'm going to come back here tomorrow morning, I think, on bushwalk and try and have him. Try and look up in this tree and see if we can find them again. They must be living in a hollow out here. That is so crazy. Wow. They're very impressive. Very good at balancing, as you can see. Okay, let's see what else we got. Right, now, of course, Sydney's got all the exciting things with Hosanna. Let's see if those hyenas we called are on their way to him.
The hyenas you have just heard now, they are not yet here, but it seems like they are heading towards my direction, which is the direction where the little chief, Hosanna, is feeding at the moment. He has been feeding here for quite a while now, and he was also resting not very far away. I'm just a little bit disappointed because I couldn't manage to reallocate the second prey. So nobody knows where the second prey is hiding. So maybe tomorrow morning we might find him somewhere around there. You can see that he's not disturbed, he's just feeding. It has been a lovely afternoon as we saw quite a lot of elephant activities by Chitwa area and interesting water monitors, and all these got punctuated by a lovely feeding behavior of Hosanna. It has been very much interesting, and thank you very, very much for all your questions and comments. I am hoping to be with you again tomorrow morning.